Tulsa's 24-hour news source continues. This is Channel 2 News, Midday, Oklahoma.
Many Tulsans remember the 1987 power outage that left hundreds of people powerless for days throughout the city. Sometimes there are things beyond the power company's control, and you want to be prepared if it happens again. Joining us today is Brian Miller, PSO Communications Supervisor. And Brian, it's good to have you with us today.
Good to be here.
First of all, we want to talk about what kinds of things are out of your control. I mean, when we have these major power outages, when the ice comes, what kind of things?
Well, that's what we think a lot of people didn't realize 3 years ago. We basically had a major natural disaster, as devastating as any flood or tornado that's ever hit this area. But 2 or 3 days later, the sun came out, the ice melted, and they wondered what the problem was. But our system was seriously damaged, and we may be facing that again this weekend. Ice storms are the worst thing that can happen to a power company.
First of all, is there anything a person can do to protect lines outside around their home in the event of this?
Not at all. The only real preventative thing that anybody can do is one of the things we put a lot of effort in over the last several years is our tree maintenance program. Trimming the tree limbs away from the lines, because that's a lot of the problem. The limbs become weighted with the ice, they come down, they snap the lines. But even though we've spent a lot of money and a lot of crews and have a lot of big plans over the next several years to continue that, ice on these lines, with the lines themselves, can cause problems. So at this point, we're prepared, but until it happens, there's not a lot we can do other than get ready to go out and fix it.
So the next step is, what kind of things do we need to have around our home just in case?
Main thing I think would be batteries for flashlights and TV and radio, because that's going to be really the key, is keeping up with what's going on with the situation. We're going to try and communicate through the media as early as we can how bad the situation may be and when we might get that power back on. So you'll know, can you stay at home or do you need to make other plans?
All right, we do have some tips for you about appliances specifically. I know a lot of people worry about, what do I do with my appliances as soon as it goes out. On these winter energy tips, it says not to use gas ovens or ranges to heat when the power goes out. What's the problem there?
On a short-term deal, if the power may be out for a little bit, obviously you can stay home. And people try and do this, but it's very dangerous because these burn oxygen and create carbon monoxide and could potentially be dangerous to, even deadly.
And your house is closed up more in the winter. We're not going to be having doors open and windows open.
Right. Anything you can do, if you've got rooms you don't use while the heat is still on, shut them off and let them cool down and focus that warmth in 2 or 3 main rooms in your house. Keep the blinds closed at night to keep the cool air out and let the sun in the daytime.
All right. And of course, letting the sun in, if we can get any, get it in the windows in the daytime, and then wearing several layers of clothing. Several
layers of clothes. You're not going to do yourself any. And a lot of these tips apply in normal situations on how to keep your bill down as well. But if the power's out, this will help contain
what
that
you've
warmth.
Got.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about, say, if we do have the power outage and all your electrical appliances go off.
Right. One thing you need to do when the power goes out is unplug your stereo, your TV, your VCR, your refrigerator. When the power comes back on and all that power comes back through those appliances, it may damage them and maybe even the wiring in your house. You might leave one lamp or radio plugged in so you'll be aware that the power's come back on. If you're doing anything with a portable generator, now's the time to check it, make sure it's going to work. But if the power does go out, don't plug it back into the main circuit breaker. That can be damaging to your system. Could also be dangerous to our linemen out working on the system. And as we mentioned, keep batteries for the flashlight and the radio.
All right. Brian, thanks a lot for the tips, and good luck to you, as well as everyone else this weekend. Thanks. We'll be back with more Midday right after this.